like to call to order the Canton Local Board of Education meeting, Monday, July 11th, 2022. If you would all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Shelton, please call the roll.
Mr. Cole?
Here.
Mr. Hamilton?
Here.
Mr. Knight?
Here.
Mr. Kveski?
Here.
Mrs. Davis?
Here.
All right, we'll come to the first point of order, election of officers. Turn it over to you, Mr. Shelton.
Okay, could we have nominations for vice president to fill the term for the remainder of calendar year 2022?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Tom Kveski.
I'll second that.
Do we have any other nominations? If not, congratulations, Mr. Kveski.
Thank you. Okay, someone want to make a motion that we adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, call the roll.
Mrs. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Knight?
Aye.
Mr. Hamilton?
Aye.
Mr. Cole?
Aye.
Mr. Kveski?
Aye. Number 6, the approval of the minutes. I would like to make a motion that we approve the regular meeting June 13th, 2022, and the special meeting June 28th, 2022. I'd like to waive the reading of the minutes and accept them as written. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Kveski?
Aye.
Mr. Cole?
Aye.
Mrs. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Knight?
Aye.
Mr. Hamilton?
Aye.
All right, that brings us to the hearing of the public. Now, although the state law does not require the boards of education to set aside time for public comment, the board recognizes the value of public input on educational issues and has adopted bylaw 0169.1, effective June 1989, to provide for public comment. In order to protect the rights of all citizens and provide for an orderly climate to conduct board business, the bylaws set forth the following rules. Public participation shall be permitted only as indicated on the order of business in the bylaws of the board. Participants must register their intentions to participate in the hearing of the public portion of the meeting prior to the meeting being called to order. Participants must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface their comments by announcement of their name, address, and group affiliation, if and when appropriate. Each participant shall be limited to 3 minutes for public comment. Public participation shall not exceed 30 minutes. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer, and no person may address or question board members individually. And I just let you know that when you have 30 seconds to go, I will hold up my hand to give you time to put together your last thoughts. All right? All right, we will start out with Edie Hamilton.
Good evening. I'm Edie Hamilton, 4374 Sandy Avenue Southeast is my address. I'm a wife and concerned community member. The board has increasingly been used for personal agendas which have gave way to unwarranted, slanderous attacks not only on board members themselves, but to their family and friends. I myself have been dragged into slanderous Facebook postings, newspaper articles, cowardly unsigned mail, my personal vehicle being tracked by strangers, and random gossip by people who do not personally know me nor choose to know me. Community members that personally know us know our integrity and are bewildered by why, after 40+ years of service to this community, there are suddenly continued accusations by a group of people who simply enjoy jumping on the bandwagon and spreading hate and lies. Those that have reached out to us are equally amazed that there are fellow humans that see themselves with such prestige that they can freely and publicly judge others. A within this district. Such repeated acts are serious and do in fact directly impact the well-being of our district students and staff. Sadly, in today's world, victims fear public scrutiny and backlash, similar to what's been so openly exhibited within our own community. We personally have endured accusations based on hearsay, escalating to dirt digging on a personal level with deliberate twisting and manipulation of facts, including oversight and intentional setup, to then mudsling in attempt to discredit us in our private life that in no way affects our actions supporting our community, and more importantly, not directly impacting district issues for which Scott has been elected. I rally our community and district to hold responsible the person of such alleged sexual harassment allegations that has a history of related threatening public outbursts against students and embarrassing public derogatory name calling, plus taking part in and promoting physical and mental abuse, including bullying, slander, and defamation, while using scapegoats and chaos to distract from his own personal character and actions. Those individual board and community members who choose not to hold such a man of conduct accountable are viewed by many as condoning and contributing to such acts themselves. And those seated on this board that clearly have personal agendas or cannot make decisions without fear or simply choose to take the easy road toward conflict need to step down to make way for others who always place our district children first. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jack Jolliffe.
My name is Jack Cholla. I live in Ironwood, Southwest Canton, Ohio. Lifelong resident of Canton, Ohio, and proud Wildcat. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, my name is Jack Cholla.
Jack.
Lifelong-
Can't hear you.
That's unusual. Hi, ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is Jack Cholla. I live in Ironwood Street, Southwest Canton, Ohio, 44706. Lifelong resident of Canton, Ohio, and proud Wildcat. I just want to say a couple of words, what is going on with the board. I believe the people have spoken and elected every one of you on the Board of Education. I believe we all have the responsibility to stay in our lanes, stay in our lanes. The board is elected to do school business. The people vote on the best people to represent Canton local. That's why you are all there. I am tired of hearing in the paper and in social media about things that do not directly tie to the school and to the students. Scott has made restitution and he's going to do community service. Case is closed. Now we can move on to what is important in this community. We have a new high school. We are doing a new middle school. We are remodeling a grade school. Let's move on. Everybody up there should be more than willing to put their backs down and get going. And if you don't belong in them chairs. It's that simple. So with that, I'm closing, and I really hope that we can all come together and be this community that we are. We've all been here. Come on, folks, get together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Next, Justin Lonka.
Good evening. My name is Justin Lonka, lifelong Canton South resident. Address is 3953 Baum Street. Lived there for quite a few years now at this point. And I would like to speak upon the merits of a good friend of mine by the name of Scott Hamilton. I've known Scott for the better part of 20 years now, introduced to my life by way of my wife and mother-in-law and my brother-in-law, as they were really good friends in the family back then. Since then, I would say we've become very close in terms of a friendship. We live just down the road from each other. We have had many conversations in life in regards to life lessons, of course, Buckeye football and everything else, and especially Canton South and Canton Local. He has been a role model to me. He has always availed himself to those in need. His foundation has spoke great volumes with this, donating money to the school, helping out children. He has never sought recognition for this. He has done this out of the goodness of his heart, providing time. I would like to bring up the fact that the most recent board meeting, a motion was set into place regarding Mr. Hamilton being censored from activities outside of the school. I feel this is a charade. I feel this is unnecessary. As the previous speaker said, he has made restitution. This has done no crime that he has ever committed has been in any way, shape, or form associated with this school district. Mr. Hamilton, for many years, has been the voice of the Wildcats. He has pronounced over band events. During midget football, youth football leagues on the weekends, he has come down. He was the only person in any venue that I have been at all year long that was actually there on Saturday mornings all day announcing the kids' names, the cheerleaders' names, so they can all experience this. No one asked him to do that. He was not obliged to do that. He did because he is a member of this community and has always done well by it. I feel that one small act of questionability is being overshot with many years of good and greatness that he has done to this community. You know, I don't understand the charade that we are putting on with this. You know, okay, maybe we did something wrong. Feel what you feel about it. You know, to keep piling on and to keep bringing upon something that is only bringing divisiveness to this community, I think needs to stop. And piggybacking off what the last gentleman said, we have seen it. This is done. We need to move on. In closing, I would like to say, Mother Teresa once said, "Let no one ever come to you without coming away better and happier." I am a better and happier person to have Scott Hamilton in my life, and I do believe that Canton Local is the same way. I would like the board to make a motion to reduce and repeal the censure that he has, as I feel, again, it is a charade. Thank you.
Thank you. Carla Neff?
Good evening. My name is Carla Neff. I reside at 3959 Baum Street, Southeast Canton, Ohio, 44707. I am a born Wildcat. I have always supported Scott Hamilton and his family. During a long hardship, my son played Little League baseball. Because of Mr. Hamilton's financial support, he was willing, let's back up a minute, I'm awful nervous here. I have always supported Scott Hamilton and his family. During a long hardship, my son played Little League baseball because of Mr. Hamilton's financial support. I truly believe Mr. Hamilton was set up. This man has put Canton Local Schools above his own family. His loyalty, dedication, and integrity speak for itself. This man is compassionate, well-educated, and proud of Canton Local Schools. Scott has given more time to Canton Local Schools than I think any other board member. This man represents Canton Local Schools, professional, and with great pride. This man attends all sport events, preschool, kindergarten registrations, band shows, and musicals, just to name a few. This man's life is Canton Local Schools. I feel Mr. Hamilton was disrespected as the president of the Board of Education. The hateful words and actions that were done against him cannot be taken back. No one is perfect. We all are human. No one has the right to judge anyone. Yes, our children and grandchildren come first. They are building blocks for the future. Therefore, we need to speak and act positive so they will succeed in their lives. This is what we need to concentrate on. We're all in this together. Thank you.
Thank you. Brad Clendenny.
My name is Brad Clendenny, 1214 Village Street, on the property. And the personal question I have for the board is, if this has gotten to such a bad thing, why is this place packed? I don't understand that, but thanks to the board for letting me speak. My mother-in-law was a teacher here, my wife was a teacher's aide. My mom and dad put 16 kids through the school. Scott Hamilton is a good person. His organization has helped so many families. If he's had made a mistake or not, it doesn't erase the good he's done in the last 20 years as board member. His election results were questioned, his organization was attacked, now him. It should be up to the voters if he stays or goes, because you work for us, we don't work for you. You wasted enough tax dollars and board time going after him. Should be on safety and kids, new schools, which you can't enjoy because of the gray cloud over the board. The board drama, we're a laughing stock to other boards, other school districts. I've been to Minerva, I've been to East Canton, been to Carrollton. It's in the repository, they see it. I was told when the new school was built that people would move here and go to this school. Since the show, we've dropped attendance. I was told we was going to get new businesses. I haven't got one yet. Let's talk about wrongdoings. And I'm not very good speaker, so be patient. And lies. Let's talk about Vienna Woods, the vouchers were put on the door saying if you come to a meeting, you'd be in a raffle for a gas card if you come down and vote for the new for the new high school. That's voter bribery. How about teachers that were told was forced to go to Vienna Woods and bring people down to vote, or they knew what the consequences would be. I had a board member tell me and my wife at a Christmas party, we don't have bad kids, we just got redneck hillbillies that don't know how to raise kids. Well, my mom and dad put 16 of us through the school. We need to find out an internal investigation to find out what the connection is with Chris Cole and the person that works at Tractor Supply. I've farmed for 15 years. I've spent thousands of dollars at Tractor Supply, and every time I went out back to get something, I had to show them my receipt. They helped me load it. All I want to finish with saying is, let's get back to the Wildcat Pride. Let's get 130 kids in marching band again, 60 kids in senior football. That's what it's all about. You guys have wasted enough taxpayer dollars and time soap operaing on the stage. Thank you.
Thank you. Tom Mogus.
Hello, Tom Mogus I live 3652 Duber Avenue. And I came here in in support of Scott Hamilton. I didn't grow up here like everybody else. I've lived here 30 years. My kids grew up here. I'm a Plain Township product, so don't hold that against me. But I met a gal down here, and that's how I ended up here. She grew up here, loved the system. That's all I can say about that, except the other thing is, growing up in Plain Township, a lot of kids I played sports with and went to school with, their parents taught here because this was the place to be. It was the one place they wanted to work. So, things I like to say is, Scott was duly elected, just like the rest of you. I can't understand this, that he needs to resign. Voters will speak at every election. If another member is going on social media and slamming other board members, that is just so wrong and so petty. I think that member should maybe consider resigning if they can't get along with the others. However, I'm not really advocating for that because you've all been duly elected. So, just things to ponder. The censure of Scott, you know, I've been to many activities. Any activity I've been to, almost every one, he's been there. He does a good job with announcing. Sometimes we didn't have very good announcers over the years. And I just think that itself was petty and mean to censor him on that case. You should reinstate him if you have any guts to do that. The other thing is, there's a group, I don't know, they call it Happy something, Happy Community or something, seems to have had a vendetta against Scott for years. This isn't just since the volleyball situation. But the volleyball situation brings to mind another problem, nepotism. You know, there's no way, if you're an authority over your spouse and something happens to your spouse, there's no way you're not going to be offended. So, you know, that's something to keep in mind too about nepotism, about hiring family. It just shouldn't happen. You know, because if it's a family member, honestly, you can't be unbiased, and that's fair. That's fair. I've talked to several people lately, because like I say, a lot of people I know down here I've talked to the last few weeks just to find out what the feelings are with everybody. And almost everybody I've talked to says, the board needs to just collectively get together, put this behind us. You know, we're the voters, we're the taxpayers. I don't want to say I'm your boss because we elected you to be leaders. And leadership, you've got to learn to get along. You need to work together, make this school system an envy of other systems. At times it's been there, and let's get it back there. Thank you.
Thank you. Randy Knoll.
Good evening. I'm Brandy Knoll, Canton local resident at 4830 Ridgeside Circle Southeast. We've heard from some community members already here and ones that will be speaking after I speak. And I'm sure that the main focus of most of those will be on Scott Hamilton. My discussion tonight is not directly about this issue, but indirectly related. In the last year, I have voiced my opinion that our Board of Education is dysfunctional and therefore impeding progress in our district in educational ways. Here we are again, another monthly meeting and yet another time filled with fighting, division, accusations, and anger. Another month of attempting to go about school business only to have it overshadowed by the controversy surrounding Mr. Scott Hamilton. For those in the audience feeling this is new, it is not. We've been through this before, repeatedly. Over the last month, a plethora of community members have spoken publicly in a variety of ways, through emails, social media, and during board meetings. The majority of those voices have shared their opinion that Mr. Hamilton should resign, as did the majority of the board at the last special meeting. Yet he refuses, and due to his refusal, we now sit through yet another monthly circus. I'm deeply saddened that once again he has allowed this to happen. As I'm sure the administration and teachers have found, it's hard to go about educational business with a sideshow of this caliber taking place. What I wanted to speak about this evening is something that deserves to escape that shadow, focused on Mr. Hamilton and his misdeeds. At the end of this week, Donna Ring will give up the reins as the owner-operator of our local Dairy Queen, and she will do this with little to no fanfare. In fact, she has no idea I'm speaking about her this evening. She would attempt to talk me out of it because that's the type of community member she is. She isn't here for the fanfare, the awards, the recognition, or the like. The dichotomy between Mr. Hamilton and Donna Ring make it ironic that I'm speaking about her tonight and rather than him. During the last 26 years, Donna has been a devoted community member, parent of Canton South graduates, business owner, volunteer, and all-around giving person. She's ran the Wildcat Secret Santa Shot very successfully, served as a committee member on sports, academic, and arts-related committees and organizations, and even served, as you are today, as a board member for a time, among other things that I do not have time to list. If I asked Donna how many hours she devoted to school-related activities and organizations, she would have no idea how to answer. If I asked Donna how much product and money she has donated, she would have no idea. If I asked her how many teams she's sponsored, gift cards she's given, how many Canton local students she's employed, again, no idea. Because she doesn't keep track. She's not focused on the numbers and the accolades or the pats on the back. She's not keeping score. She doesn't need to convince anyone of the type of person she is with words or lists, because her actions speak louder than those words. But here we sit in the same month with her 26 years of being a devoted community member and school supporter comes to an end, and I feel like she will get little or no recognition for what she's done, because here we are steeped in controversy again. How many months or years will we as a community allow this to happen? How many other Donna Rings will get pushed into the shadows, and how many times will positive things in our district get pushed aside? This is my last point. I would like to make a formal request that the board and district more explicitly recognize Donna for her time, attention, and care that she's provided for our community, students, children, and school, because I feel like she deserves better. Thanks.
Rob Tyne. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Tyne. It's Dave Andrews first. I'm sorry.
Good evening, Dave Andrews, 204 Charlotte Avenue. I think most of you know I'm a pretty straight shooter, and I'd like to read a few quotes from Scott Hamilton at the last board meeting and provide some factual information. Scott said, "I did not knowingly or intentionally steal from Tractor Supply." On video from the police body cam, as many as 5 employees stated that they knew he'd been doing this for months. The police officer even stated it's clear as day what he is doing, hiding the bags of pine shavings under his tonneau cover. One employee asked Scott if he was going to pay for the bags under his tonneau cover, and this employee said Scott hurled obscenities at him. Employees of TSC were even making fun of Scott, considering he is a member of the TSC loyalty program, and that saves every transaction made by its members. This is all publicly requested, folks. It's all out there. You can get it yourselves. The next quote: "I was not convicted by a judge or my peers. Scott was indeed found guilty of a misdemeanor by Judge Elam of Massillon Municipal Court. He sat on the stage at the special meeting and lied directly to the public and this board. Judge Elam even stated that Scott admitted to the facts in the case that were presented to him by the law department and the police report."
That's not true. That's not true.
Mr. Hamilton, please.
I reclaim my time.
I still got you.
"I am not guilty of any misconduct in office, and any action I have taken in this role as a board member has been to serve the students and parents of this school district. Are we honestly going to forget the bylaws that have been created because of Scott? He admitted at a board meeting that he used his announcing position to promote his friends. Mr. Knight, you were one of them. Now, the other thing I want to address right now is Scott sat on that stage at the last board meeting and said none of his family or his friends are spreading rumors that he was set up. 3 of them have done it tonight, including his wife. How much more lying is going to go on? If everybody wants to know why this keeps happening, here it is. All the lies and the facts are right for you. I'm not sure what else we have to do here. Now let's move on to ethics violations. Ethics are very clear. Public officials may not take action in matters that definitely and directly affect themselves. Scott voted on the censure vote, and Scott voted on the resignation. Those are all ethics violations. What are you going to do about it, Mr. Knight? This board, you've been told, it's there. You need to act on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Dine, I'm sorry.
Rob and I live at 3264 Well Street, Southwest Canton, Ohio. Before I go too much further, I want to say thank you in advance, because I know I may forget it at the end.
Just speak up, Rob.
I wasn't really going to talk about this, but since this gentleman blatantly said what he said, I will point this out. If I was an individual that was being charged with those situations, I would have been stopped that day, not waiting for 5 months to gather information and any other information that you could be used against you in court of law. That's not what you do as an employee of any company. If you see something, you recognize it, you tell your supervisor, and they can call immediately to the local law enforcement and have the situation addressed then, not gather information over 5 months. That's just absurd. So let me just get on with what I was going to say in relation to Mr. Scott Hamilton. I'm here in support of Scott because he does go out of his way more than you realize. He's been a board member for 24 years. And over the years, Scott and Edie Hamilton Foundation has donated almost $57,000 to Canton Local School Board and for its students and its residents. That money goes towards field trips, school supplies, the Hamilton Field for Athletics, and Scott has donated many hours refereeing and announcing youth and high school sporting events and band activities, which Scott should still be allowed to do. Scott also has given of himself unselfishly chaperoning numerous events, supporting house fire victims, and working with community organizations such as Bridgepoint and the Canton South Rotary. As you know, all of these activities are on a volunteer basis. How many of you can say that about yourself, that if you've been given that much time over the years and that much money? Unfortunately, politics has came into play once again, and it's a shame that the students will be the one that suffer. And for those who say students won't suffer, I say shame on you, because they will. Remember which board members contribute the most of their time and money for the next election, and keep those on the board that deserve to be on the board for their unwillingness and dedication and devotion of so many years and determination for the benefit of the Canton local community and its students.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We're at 29 minutes. Is there anybody else? I got
Yeah.
29 and 40
Ed-
seconds.
Ed Simon.
If they start before 30 minutes, we're going to give them the opportunity.
Go ahead, Mr.
My
Simon.
name is Ed Simon, 3253 Waynesburg Drive Southeast, 44707. Before I begin, I have a timer here, set for 3 minutes. I would appreciate it if you would pay attention rather than look at your clock and wait and see who's going to shut up first. I think it's interesting to see that it's taken 5 months, Scott, for you to get people to come up here and support you. 583, based on input from the Stark County Board of Elections, that's the number of Canton local registered voters required to present a petition for your removal to the Stark County Common Pleas Court. The judge will then review the request for removal of an individual from their position and make an informed determination. Past history will be a major component of that review, not just recent past history, but former allegations, legal actions, community input will be part of that review. If you think that we cannot obtain 583 signatures, I suggest you reconsider, because I'm confident that we can. I've had misunderstandings in the past with associates and friends. Typically, they're resolved in one conversation. We address what was said or done, resolve it, and move forward. It seems a little unreasonable to think that your recent misunderstanding lasted 5 months and occurred 17 times with 166 bales of pine shavings. And just so that everyone is clear, no contest means you agree to the facts that TSC presented. By pleading no contest, you have said, yes, I did take these bails, just like TSC says. Yes, it does. Don't shake your head at me, Scott.
You can't address a board member. You cannot
Okay,
address.
sorry.
Thank you.
The judge has subsequently found you guilty. If you think we're naive enough to believe that TSC, a $13 billion company, would listen to any individual to set you up, then you must believe that your constituents are uninformed idiots. You whined to the repository over how mean and hurtful it was to be censured. Yet you watched a room full of young ladies bawling their eyes out and felt no remorse whatsoever. As I said before, you were the only bully in the room that day, and you were acting just like a bully now, whining and pouting because you were pushed back. Over recent months, you've brought enough shame and embarrassment to this community, and specifically Canton Local, for last for quite a while. I'm asking you, Scott Hamilton, to voluntarily resign your position, removing the embarrassment and shame you will heap on Canton Local by going through the court system to have you removed. You successfully destroyed a growing, improving volleyball program despite a fellow board member who doesn't just roll over and agree with your suggestions or conclusions. Are you willing to spite the entire community with your stubborn, narcissistic ego to remain on the board?
Thank you.
2-22 in the league.
All right, our 30 minutes is over, and I'm sorry that we cannot entertain any more public speaks. We will move on to approval of invoices.
I so move, we approve.
Second. Any discussion? Okay, Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Knight?
Aye.
Mrs. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Kavetsky?
Aye.
Mr. Hamilton?
Aye.
Mr. Cole?
Aye.
All right, that brings us to the school report.
Actually, Mrs. Miller, who's going to be here with us, is unable to make it, so she will come another day, but she's not going to be here this evening.
Okay, thank you. All right, that brings us to the treasurer's report. Mr. Johnson?
Okay, we have 5 things on the agenda for tonight. Item A, approval of the monthly financial reports, Exhibit TA1. First page, the cash reconciliation for the end of the fiscal year, June 30th, 2022. Deposit accounts ended with $3,029,665.59. Investments of $16,619,114.91. And a reconciled balance of $19,457,553.84. Page 2 is a listing of our investments, operating and construction. This will be the last month that we have the construction items listed on there. As the project winds down, we'll have our final cash payments to Beaver Constructors for that, so that will close out that investment account. Those tied to the reconciliation for the investments. Page 3 is a listing of receipts and expenditures for the general fund for the fiscal year. This compares with last fiscal year. I won't go in detail on this. We'll have a full review of that when I hand out my booklet for the year end, showing our appropriations and estimated receipts for next year. We'll go over our financial performance for this fiscal year at that time. Unless there's questions, I recommend item A for approval. Item B, an agreement with Education Alternatives. This is for outside placements for special education services. We do try to educate all students within our doors here. There comes a time where we may not be able to provide the best education for certain students if they have special needs. This agreement allows us to place those students at Educational Alternatives for those students that their IEP calls for outside placement. So I recommend approval of that agreement. And then item C as well is an agreement with Total Education Solutions. This as well is a special education agreement for placement of students outside of the district, for students that we cannot serve within our walls. I just wanted to point out, because this one is an expensive one, Total Education Solutions, we have a student placed there with severe autism. The cost to educate one student in this facility is over $80,000, so it is very costly to do. We were not able to provide the education services here, so we placed the student there. Gets the services that they need, and is what is laid out in the IEP and what our special services director feels is best for the student. So I recommend both of those contracts for approval. Item B, we have two purchase orders that require then and now certification, since they're over 3,000, require board approval. First one for Huddle for sports subscription, $11,500. That's purchase order 22001400. And Power School Group purchase order number 2200146, $4,630.61. I recommend then and now certification for those two purchase orders. And then item E, we have a list of change orders here with Beaver Constructors for three different change orders for three different projects. The first change order is Exhibit TE1, change order in the amount of $21,426.65. This is for additional above ceiling work at Faircrest Memorial Elementary School. If you'll remember, we took the tour and we talked about we were going to be replacing the ceiling grids in that building. We took all the ceiling grids down. Building department came out, did an inspection. We had several items that needed to be addressed to meet code. So in order to meet code, we had to do some additional work with data electrically before we put those ceiling pads, the new ceiling pads in. So this change order brings us up to code in the ceiling at Faircrest Memorial Elementary. So I recommend approval of that change order. Exhibit TE2 is a change order for the annex, $38,986.56. At the annex, we're doing lighting and HVAC upgrades. Originally, our work was not going to include the classroom areas. When Beaver got in there to start doing the work and add it, they came to us and asked if we wanted to go ahead and do the classroom areas and knock that out while they were mobilized here. It saved us a lot of money from doing it in the future. They're going to replace the ceiling tiles in there and upgrade the lighting in those rooms as well. I recommend approval of Exhibit TE2. Exhibit TE3 is a change order in the amount of $17,793.97. This is also for the annex. We're upgrading the fire alarm system there to meet code. The inspector there required that we increase the number of smoke detectors and the number of carbon monoxide detectors. So we're adding 3 of each, 3 smoke detectors, 3 carbon monoxide detectors. Total change order $17,793.97. So I recommend items A through E for approval.
We will pull item E and vote A through D. And item E we'll vote on separately. Are there any comments, questions? Okay, call the order, please. Roll, please.
Make a
Need a motion and a second.
Yeah, need a
Mr.
motion.
Knight.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Hamilton?
Aye.
Mr. Koveski?
Aye.
Mr. Cole?
Aye.
Mrs. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Knight?
Aye. I make a motion for change order E.
Second.
Any questions?
Okay, you want to talk about just where that money is coming from, the art?
Yeah, Mr. Yeager brought up a good point. I was going to discuss a little bit. The savings that we have for our new middle school, we're still under budget there and have contingency money left. So if the annex work that we chose, the owner requested change that we're doing at the annex for the classroom areas, we do have contingency money left from the new middle school. So we're not pulling from general fund resources or anything like that. It's project dollars that we have left over that we're able to utilize to upgrade one of our last remaining facilities that hasn't been completely renovated. So that's where those funds are coming from. Thanks for that.
Mr. Schatzel, do you know roughly how much contingency money we have left over?
I don't have that information in front of me, but I can definitely share that with the board tomorrow morning. I'll send that information out.
No worries, thank you.
Yeah, and we still have a final change order with Beaver for, the middle school job. They still actually have owner contingency left, and their owner contingency covered a lot of the little items that we had down the stretch, that didn't require a change order, so we haven't had a change order in a while. We'll go over that entire, project reconciliation. I'll send that information out, we can discuss it at either the, August or September board meeting.
So overall, though, financially, both schools were in really good shape.
Yes, yeah, our project is under budget now.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hamilton,
Aye.
Mr. Kvesky,
Stay.
Mr. Cole,
Aye.
Mrs. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. Knight.
Aye. Okay, that brings us to communications.
Yeah, so obviously, student of the month reports we don't have right now, committee reports. Athletic council, we're in our summer workouts right now, and I will say this, when you walk outside, as we're taking walks down to see everything going on down at the new middle school, you're constantly seeing kids out on that field, in the weight room, in the gym, so there's a lot of work being done there. As far as student representatives to the Board of Education, obviously not now. I looked through a little bit of facilities, so first of all, just a reminder to everyone here on the board, we are holding an online auction through Kiko Auction Service that will start tomorrow and will go through next Tuesday. And that is to get rid of the school supplies that are out at auctions, or excuse me, out at the Walker property right now. Cabinets, student desks, things that we are not using anymore. That is an online auction that the community can bid and have the opportunity to buy those things. It will start tomorrow at noon and it will end on Tuesday at noon through Kiko. They're able to do that. The middle school, it's finishing up really, really well. I know there's some of you I've been able to take tours through the building. I know Mr. Knight, I know you were able to take your family through today. I did another walkthrough today. Prior to going on vacation last week, Mr. Nolan, I did a punch list walkthrough with Beaver Construction, and it looks phenomenal. I cannot wait for everybody, our students, our staff, our community to get to come and see this building. It really is going to be something special. I think we all know this. Buildings are not what make a school district great. It's the people you put inside of them. But I'm going to tell you, they sure help. And they sure make for just a great environment. And so just very, very grateful for that opportunity. And want to make sure we invite everyone to our ribbon cutting ceremony, which is on July 30th. That ribbon cutting ceremony is going to start at 1 p.m. There'll be a short little ceremony, no longer than 1:30, where we really dedicate the building to the ribbon cutting. And then the rest of the afternoon is going to be till 3 o'clock, an open house where people can go around, have tours. And would love to have people there because it really is going to be something special for our community. As far as Faircrest Memorial Elementary School, coming along nicely, although sometimes when you walk through it, you're like, oh geez, but it really is. It's coming along great. Thanks to our custodians, our maintenance staff, our summer working crew, everybody, we are now able to get our staff in there, both the middle school and the new elementary school. Our staff is in there working in their rooms, doing things right now. Really, really excited, and that would not be possible, especially at that elementary school, without our custodial staff. Mr. Knoll, Mr. Stepanovich is in the back, has done a lot of work with the technology. Just want to give a shout out to all of them. Things you might see right now over at the elementary, they've started the prep for paving of that parent pickup loop. That should be coming any time now. It's gravelled out there, ready to go. We had our latest communication with Game Time. If you remember at our last June board meeting, we had some concerns about them starting. They actually came down to take a look at the site, get things prepped. We expect them here any time and are feeling much more confident that we're going to be ready. Until something's done, you never say a guarantee. But I feel better today than what we felt when we were sitting here in June. So just looking forward to that. It's still a lot of work to be done, but really, really excited just about what's happening. And more importantly, I can't wait till that first day when our kids walk into these buildings. And then our kids and our staff have the opportunity. So just really a lot of work to be done, but it's going to be something great for years to come. So I just want to keep you guys in the loop on that. Other than that, I'm going to move down to my superintendent report. And one of the things I want to kind of put out there to the community is what we're looking for as we move forward here. And our number one priority as we move into this next school year right now, and it's our number one priority at any time, is safety. I think any parent out there will tell you they don't care what their child learns, they come home with a black eye. And obviously in today's world, we know safety means even more than that. So I want to make sure our community is fully aware of what we are doing right now along those lines. So first of all, we had a school resource officer, Dominique Antonorm, who took a new job with LEPO, that we lost him. We did sit in last month at the sheriff's office, Dr. Dale Rush, myself, and Brian Mon, our middle school principal. We interviewed candidates. We sat in there with some of the sergeants and majors from the sheriff department. We all unanimously came up with our top choice. We're waiting on the official word from the sheriff's department, but we're really excited to be adding back that second resource officer in here, help keep us safe. Additionally, we are going to hire 2 additional security officers. I think everybody knows, but we have John Kloss, who is a Dalton Commissioner Police Officer, who sits as our security, carries a gun as a police officer every day, wears a Canton South shirt. John actually kind of wants to move from the high school and is going to move over to our elementary school, where he is going to be helping with kids in pickup in the morning, parent drop-off. We have preschool coming. You are going to see an armed officer outside with our students on those transitions. Being outside at recess with our kids to provide better safety, and just having an armed presence of a police officer in that building every single day. We have already posted for now 2 more security officers. Our requirements are that they are either commissioned as a police officer or retired as a police officer, that they have met all qualifications necessary to carry a gun through those things and any other trainings that we would require ourselves. We've had right now and they keep coming in. At the end of the day, I was somewhere between 14 and 15 applicants for those jobs. And we are going to look to sit down and do a getting to know you interview with each one of them by the end of the week. And then hopefully do a second round interview by the end of next week to get them selected. But our goal when we do that is we will have 2 sheriff deputies and then 3 security officers, giving us 5 armed staff in our building every day to protect our students and our staff, which is the #1 thing that we need to do. And then we will work together with them, with our township, with the fire department there, to make sure we're doing everything we can to keep our kids safe. That's really been our #1 priority this summer, taking care of that. A second thing within that realm, and this goes in with discipline and it also goes in with school safety, is mental health. I think we all talk and we all know over and over again that mental health is a need, not just in Canton local, but everywhere. But we can only control our area. And so what we're working on right now is we've already hired an additional school counselor for Canton South High School next year. That will bring us up to 3. I think that's greatly needed. But another thing I'm very excited about is we are right now fully staffed with our Conquest mental health counselors. We have our full components that we should have. We have 1 at the high school full-time, 1 at the elementary full-time, and last year we had some issues with the middle school. It was an unfortunate family situation that caused it, but we had some rotation in there. We have a full-time counselor coming in from Conquest as well. So right now we're fully staffed there. And then on top of that, I'm entering us into a partnership from the Northeast Community Family Counseling and Dr. Tim King. Dr. King has been working with Sandy Valley and East Canton, and as you all know, we're part of a cohort with them in our career tech field. He's going to be coming in and working with our students as well to help bridge the gap. Guys, at the end of last year, we had 8 students to be referred to mental health that we had no more space for. And that's just unacceptable. When we say every child, every minute, every day, we have to meet it. And if we're not taking care of those basic needs of safety and mental health, we're not going to get the discipline under control the way we need to, and in turn, our big job of getting academics. So when you see us moving into next year and what we're working on right now, it is safety, mental health, discipline, which is going to allow us to really work our plans of academics and then better communication and partnerships with our community, because that's where we need to be moving. So I just wanted to keep you kind of informed on where we are. We'll have more updates on discipline, academic plans as we move into August and September. But just wanted to keep you guys aware of what's happening and just make sure you know it. Listen, I know there's a lot. We know there's a lot going on right now. There's also a lot of good. And we have to be very critical of ourselves. We have to look at ourselves. We have to be very critical about where we can improve. But we also have to celebrate the success we have. And so as we move in, there's a lot of good. We have such a great staff. We have such great kids. I'm very proud of the team I get to work with every day in our administration. And I want to make sure that I do my best to keep my focus on that. And that's what I'm going to be doing here as we move into the beginning of school year. But just want to keep you up to date because there's a lot happening. And I think our community needs to know as well what's happening with those safety plans and what we're putting out there. We will do a big communication once we get people hired and finalized, hoping for early August.
Thank you.
Okay. So now I just continue on with my report. All right, here we go. Item A is resignations and retirements. We have 2 of them. One, Amy Idle, our visual arts teacher at the middle school, and Nellie Way, a Title I teacher. Amy has been a teacher here for many years. Really sad to see her leave, but had an outstanding opportunity. Amy is going into a career tech. Greg Clark has stolen her away up at the Portage Lake Center. But this is an opportunity for her to run a career tech program, very similar to what you may see Mr. Berger doing for us. And it's a great opportunity for her. Sad to see her leave, but happy for her. Nellie Way also got a full-time teaching job, and I cannot remember the district off the top of my head. But Solon, thank you so much. Yep, appreciate it. Thank you. Got a full-time teaching job there as well. So it's my recommendation that we would accept those resignations. Moving to employment now. The first one that you're going to see, there's our visual arts teacher, Caitlin Friede. Caitlin is a Canton local graduate. I believe she said 2009. She's been teaching for 7 years, 1 year at Harrison City Schools, Harrison Central High School, and then the last 6 at Worcester City Schools. So it's a great opportunity to bring her home and get her back here. Really excited for her. Our next teachers that you look down, Amanda Pyle, Cindy Cleaward, Santino Carter, Carissa Deeds, are all title teachers that are returning from last year. As you know, we non-renew those each year until we get the funding back in. Amanda Willis is replacing Nellie Way on that list. She was a teacher at Heritage Christian last year, and we're excited to add her into Canton Local as well. Barb Dinger for our bus driver position. Guys, we can never have too many bus drivers. I think we all know the shortages there with everything, and so we have Barb Dinger coming on board. Bob Campbell as a 4-hour position, afternoon shift. John Hinkle, this one should have been on sooner, totally my fault. Summer weightlifting, he's been working with our kids throughout the spring, but we just need to make sure we get him approved for that summer as well. And then 2 assistant coaches, Aaliyah Brown, assistant girls tennis coach, and then Anne-Marie Trissel, a volunteer assistant girls tennis coach. It's my recommendation that we would approve them. An unpaid doc day, item C, not something that we have very often, but the way these need to be done, they have happened in the past, but the way they need to be done is they need to be done on here at a board meeting for our teaching staff. Mr. Eric Brickwood is requesting an unpaid doc day on January 17th. That is the day after Martin Luther King Day. It is my recommendation that we do this. Not something that I want to be a big habit, but I don't see this becoming a problem really for our district, because it is honestly very expensive for a teacher to take these days. I don't see this as something that's going to be a habit, but it is going to be my recommendation that we grant him that day. Gifts and donations, we'd like to accept $5,000 in stadium turf donation from Mr. and Mrs. James Abbott, a $200 anonymous donation to a scholarship fund, Kent South Athletic Booster Club donation of $6,000 to the Huddle. Guys, for any of you that are involved in athletics, and I know we have Booster Club officers here in the back, I just want to say thank you for that donation. This is something that really is excellent for our coaches. And it's going to be able to be used across multiple sports in the gym, in the stadium. It is really good, and honestly something that I know a lot of other schools have, and this is bringing us up to where we should be with that. So I just want to say thank you to the Booster Club there. A Feed the Team donation of $1,103, and it's my recommendation that we accept those. Sunday participation, the football team, Coach Dennison submitted a request for his team to travel to Walsh University this Sunday coming up to practice with Canfield in a 7-on-7 scrimmage on the college campus. Obviously, we'd like to give them that opportunity as well. CEP, the Community Eligibility Provision Agreement. Very important that we understand this. I'd like for us to approve this. This is what makes us eligible to receive free lunch and free breakfast as a district. And our staff has run the numbers under Ashley Marina. We will again qualify for free, and this is different than in the past, free breakfast and free lunch for our elementary and our middle school, not for our high school. So I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I would like to approve our numbers so that can be approved there. Moving down to item H, because we are now not offering, oops, I'm so sorry, I skipped item G, free universal breakfast. One of the things we've talked about as an administration is because, especially at the high school, and this is really at the high school, we will not be offering free lunch to all students. We'd like to offer a free breakfast to all students. This will come out of our cafeteria fund. Mrs. Marina, who has a very healthy balance in there, believes this is something that is very doable and will not put a strain on our cafeteria budget. We as an administration believe it's the right thing to do for our kids, to offer them that free breakfast when they come here in the morning to make sure everybody's ready to go as they start the day. I would like to approve that we would offer that. Again, our elementary and our middle school will already get it. This would just keep it free breakfast for our high school as well. And so that's item G, and I apologize for skipping that. If you move down to item H, because we do not have free lunch anymore, we do have to have a meal charge policy and set our meal prices. I just want to be very clear. We will be diligent in collecting fees and lunch, but we are not taking food off of a student's tray or ripping food away from a student so they can't eat lunch. I just want to be very clear on that. We have plans and things in place, and Ashley laid that out for everybody, but I just want to make sure we've got that. Our prices for student lunch will be $3.75. If they are, and I actually have this right here, I apologize, for an adult, a lunch for an adult, so if a staff member would want to grab a lunch, it's $4.75. I also want to make sure you know that as an individual family, you can still qualify for free and reduced lunch. So you fill out those forms and turn it in. I don't want to pretend like at the high school level that has gone away at all. You can still absolutely qualify, and if you get a free lunch, obviously it is what it is, it's free. If you would qualify for a reduced fee lunch, it would cost you 40 cents a day. So that's what we're approving there with item H. And that is the end of my report.
Okay, do I have a motion for A through H?
Make a motion that we approve A through H.
Second.
All right, any questions? All right, call the roll, please.
Mr. Cole?
Aye.
Mr. Hamilton?
Aye.
Mr. Knight?
Aye.
Mr. Kovesky?
Aye.
Mrs. Davis?
Aye.
All right, that brings us to board concerns, legislative. I have nothing on that today. Are there any questions pertaining to the agenda items for board actions? All right, if not, move to other business.
Wondering, could we move the September movie?
Oh, the September meeting? Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
We'll look at the dates.
I currently have it for the 12th, September 12th. Is that what everybody else has?
September 12th.
September 12th.
Yep.
Yes.
I know Mr. Tedeschi said he was going to be out of town.
That week.
Yeah, so,
The 5th is Labor Day, so we obviously can't.
Yeah,
go
we
back.
can't go
Yeah.
with the 5th.
The 19th is a shift day for me. Would it be possible to move it to a Tuesday?
Move it to Tuesday?
I'm fine with that.
Tuesday? Yeah.
Tuesday the 6th? Does that work for everybody else?
Tuesday the 6th?
Yeah.
All right, Tuesday the 6th. All right,
Same time?
same time, 7 o'clock. Tuesday the 6th. So our September meeting will be on a Tuesday, 6th, the day after Labor Day.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any executive session?
Not for me.
All right. If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for adjournment. All right, can we call the roll, please?
Mr. Kovesky?
Aye.
Mr. Cole?
Aye.
Mrs. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Knight?
Aye.
Mr. Hamilton?
Aye.
Thank you for coming.